we'll get started because, like I said, I want to keep this to just 15 minutes or less.
Okay.
I'm a student at Pfeiffer, just like Rachel was.
Nice.
It's going great, and I've got this project, a creative project that I need to do. We had to read a book called The Gift of Therapy, which was advice from a experienced therapist to people who are just starting out. So that's the premise of the video that I'm making right now, is to ask other therapists about their advice to someone like me who's aspiring to be a therapist. So pretty
Okay.
straightforward stuff. Just, what's your opinion? So we'll just start with a general question of what's your general advice to someone like me who's aspiring to be a therapist?
Oh my goodness. I think the biggest thing is, when we get our license, we kind of feel like we've arrived, it's something that we've, I think, my program was like 60 credit hours. I would imagine y'all's is I have tremendous respect for Pfeiffer. All of our colleagues at Lakeshore graduated from Pfeiffer. I have a huge esteem for Pfeiffer. So with that being said, I know how strenuous the degree programs can be. And so we kind of like have that on our radar. We're like, we're going to get this point, we're going to get this license, we're going to get this degree. And I think the biggest advice I would give is like, that is just the starting point.
Yeah.
Once you have that license, that degree, then that's like the license to really learn and really jump into theories and advanced certifications and really hone in on your specialty. So, I guess becoming a great therapist is a journey. And that license and degree is a start of a great journey for you. So.
Great. Now this field attracts sensitive people who are empathetic and a lot of feelings. And
Yeah.
With that comes maybe some feelings of insecurity. I'm nervous about starting the process. When we do role plays in class, I'm very self-conscious. So how did you deal with any negative self-talk that you may have had as you were coming up through the ranks?
So I think that I actually led a supervision group a couple of weeks ago, and we kind of talked about that attitude. That I think those feelings of insecurity drive us to be better therapists. I think if we ever get to that point that we don't have those feelings of insecurity, you need supervision. You need to check, you need to reset. Those feelings of insecurity, oh my goodness, I think if you're striving to do your best work, I think they're always going to be there. So I think what I would encourage is almost embrace the insecurity. Let that motivate you to be coachable. And then surround yourself with peers that you esteem highly, great supervisors, great colleagues. But absolutely, that feeling of insecurity is normal, and I would much rather work with a therapist who had feelings of insecurity rather than feelings of grandiosity. So.
Okay, that was a really good answer. Thank you. That was great. When you work with your clients, do you believe in having a standardized process, or do you sort of customize based on a case-by-case basis?
So honestly, a little bit of both. I like having standardized processes because the standardized processes, the empirically validated approaches, such as, I use the Gottman method. I use cognitive behavioral therapy. I use emotionally focused therapy. I love the empirically validated therapies because one, they're proven, they work. Two, it gives me a level of protection when, if I'm working with a client and they try to claim malpractice or something like that, it gives me a level of protection that, hey, I followed this proven, process. But at the same time, I think there does need to be some creativity with that. For example, I have some clients that, some of their a lot of times the biggest complaint I get from the Gottman method is that it is so rigid. It's so structured, and there's a right way to do the exercises and interventions. And so sometimes you do have to still do the intervention, but you might do it a little bit more subtly, a little bit more softly to accommodate clients. So I guess, my advice is, having proven theoretical modalities that you believe in, that you buy into, that you rely on. And so that kind of creates the framework, but you also within that framework have to have flexibility to apply that work based on the client's needs. So I guess the short answer is no, it's not a cookie cutter approach, but there is definitely a structured framework.
Excellent. Okay, great. Thank you. What is your opinion on sharing a diagnosis with a client? Do you find that it may do more harm than good? What's your
In
opinion
some
on that?
cases, yes. In some cases, yes. And I know so I am a licensed clinical mental health counselor.
Mhm.
And I know my code of ethics does create provisions for us to withhold diagnoses in the case that it might be,
Oh,
withhold it from the client in the case that it might be detrimental or harmful.
yeah.
So with that being said, um, in some cases, it would be appropriate based on our code of ethics to withhold a diagnosis if we feel that that diagnosis could be harmful, the client's awareness of that diagnosis could be harmful. But yeah, so I guess, kind of leave it at that.
I understand. Okay. No, that was good. Last question. What do you consider to be the goal of therapy? I read in one of the books that it's the goal of therapy to teach the client to be their own therapist. And I thought that was an interesting concept. And I wonder what your take was on that.
Generally, I do agree with that. Generally, I do agree with that. Being, my love and adherence to the Gottman method. I feel like it's very much a coaching approach where you kind of come alongside the clients, you jump in with them with their problems, you give them structured exercises, structured interventions to empower them to be able to have those conversations on their own outside of therapy to enhance that connection and communication. So I guess, I guess I see therapy as kind of a journey and a process where the counselor comes alongside for a second. And I don't know if the end goal is to teach the client to be the therapist. I guess in some cases that would be the case. But I kind of see it as a journey and a process. You're coming alongside the client for a period of time, and if that means coaching the client to be their own therapist, whether that means just being a unbiased support, I guess that could mean different things for different clients.
Hmm. Okay, great. That's all the questions that I had. So we got you in and out in 10 minutes.
Steve, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, Daryl, thank you so much. This is great. I can send you a copy of the finished product. I'm interviewing other therapists as well. I'm going to edit it together. It's due December 2nd, and I can get you a copy when it's done if you'd like to see it. No, did I lose you?
Steve, we're cutting out. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, you froze up a little bit. Well, I think I was done anyway, so I can end the call. All right, I'll say goodbye. Thank you. Thank you very much.